I think Elaine did our at the Carmichael here.
Probably, yeah,
yeah,
before she died, yeah.
Yeah. And what show was it?
I did a Kennedy Center Honors.
Oh, here we are. Hello, everybody. I am Sam Arce, also known as Broadway Sam, and welcome to ATI's Lunch Break. And it is that time, and I am absolutely so excited because today we have a glorious special guest. He's actually my friend from New York, Michael Blatt, director extraordinaire, and he is here we're going to talk all things directing and Titanic. But before we go to Titanic, we were just kind of having fun reminiscing and tell us, we're going to talk a little bit about Michael and how he came to be a director and his beginnings. Humble as he is, they're not so humble. It's amazing his journey to become a director. So, Michael, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Well, it is so much fun. Well, welcome back because you're from here.
I did. I grew up in Indianapolis,
right?
And I went to North Central High School.
That's right. Your mom lives here.
My
right?
mom lives here, on the north side.
You're like the David Letterman of directing. Your mom's still here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because David Letterman's mom was in Carmel.
Right.
Your mom's like 91st-ish.
91st and Meridian.
She's almost Carmel, right?
Yeah, almost Carmel.
So you went to North Central, but then you went to college in
I went
New York.
to NYU.
NYU.
I was a theater major, Tisch School of the Arts.
And you were with our bestie Marie La
Yeah.
Ferrara, and Marie and you were at what it was.
We
Tell us
were
about that.
well. My first studio. They have different studios for you, different in the acting department. I was at Circle and Square first. I don't know if Marie was there, but
No,
then
I don't
we
think so.
went to. We were both in the musical theater department at Cap 21.
Okay.
That's where we were really together. But Marie and I, we had a whole little group of musical theater nerds that hung out together.
Yeah, you said there was Mary Birdsong.
Mary Birdsong, Lori Allen, who's
Right.
Voice of in SpongeBob.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she's the whale, the daughter.
Gotcha. Yeah, and Marie, and you. So you were both at the time were in the acting.
We both we were the first class of Cap 21, which was then called Musical Theater Works.
Right.
So that when we got to NYU, it was very serious acting.
Yeah,
And there
she
was
told me
a
that.
group of us that loved to do musicals, and we're always like, "Can we do a musical?" And they always did crazy plays. Richard Foreman would come and do Hamlet Machine, these really experimental, amazing works. But we wanted to do Pippin. So we finally convinced them to let them do musicals, and they actually did Pippin. I was away for that semester, but Marie was in that. Mm-hmm. And then we convinced them that we wanted to have a studio for musical theater. So they worked with Musical Theater Works, which used to produce a season of musicals, and they then became Cap 21. They still exist today.
Well, you've all gone on your separate journeys because Mary's an actress, and Marie still does, but she's actually the Marie La Ferrara is the executive director of the York, and then you journeyed on because you went on. And you said you were acting.
I was. So I became an actor. Yeah. My senior year of NYU, I had long hair then. It
Yes,
was my own hair. Yeah. And I was, my whole life, I have been like a huge fan of the musical Hair. And I knew there was this tour happening in Europe, 25th anniversary tour. And Joe Donovan, who was one of the original assistants on the Broadway, was directing it. And Jim Rado was coming on. And it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I'm going to get the show. And I auditioned for it, and I did. I got the part of Wolf. And then I went to Europe for 5 years and did that show. So I didn't graduate with Marie. And then I was just a working actor, and I went back and I started to teach and direct. And Ansley Valentine, who's an Indianapolis person who's works at IU now, but he was a really big inspiration to me. Mm-hmm. And he said, you should get your MFA in directing. So I was like, well, there's a little problem. I hadn't really graduated undergrad. So in 2013,
they let me back. You had to go back, right.
I went back to NYU, which was fun to be back in the same department, all new people. And graduated in 2013.
So you were the kind of the when you went back, there were the young students, and then there were you who had some experience.
Yeah. There were, NYU is a really competitive program. So there
yes,
were kids,
I know.
There were like kids in my section who were already on Broadway in Spring Awakening, and so it wasn't that weird of a difference because it was a lot of really working actors.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, that was great, and it was really inspirational to kind of meet new people in the theater.
But I imagine you brought something different, for a lot of these younger people that were aspiring. You were already working, and that you brought something new and refreshing to them that they got to glean from some of your experience too.
Yeah, I think so. And they were really nice and respectful. My favorite class, we did a political theater class. And I love politics. And we just kind of investigated all that theater that came out in the early 1900s, 1920s.
Didn't you work with somebody that's now kind of famous?
In your Ari...
He was in Band's Visit?
The Band's Visit,
okay.
Yeah. Sachel's last name? Or?
I think something,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we were partners on a project together.
Yeah.
But then he became. I saw him on the Tony Awards. I'm like, that's the kid that came over to my apartment. We did a project together.
And it's a small world. When I got involved in theater, I thought, oh my God, this playground is so big, and yet the playground's small, and you just learn. Just don't kick sand in people's faces because you never know when you're going to work with them.
It's a very small community. And that was great. And then I went to grad school at...
Because you graduated from NYU.
I graduated that. Then I knew I wanted to get my MFA in directing.
So kudos, you got an NYU degree, and then you wanted to get your master's of fine arts in directing.
In directing. So my dream department, because I am a method actor... was method. The Actors Studio.
Yes,
which is the home of the method.
Right, and then so name some of the people that come out of that.
Before I graduated, Bradley Cooper came out of there.
Amazing.
But it was also, the Actors Studios where every famous actor, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, Marilyn Monroe.
And we see that TV show with Brian Lipton.
James Lipton.
Oh, James Lipton. I'm sorry. James
so we got to, that was part of our training, and I got to sit in the front, and there's many shots of me nodding and
because you got to see all these amazing famous people who would inspire you, and that was part of your class.
That was just part of our class. And then it was a really wonderful program.
And you were in the heyday of that because...
It was right at so James Lipton passed away maybe 3 or 4 years after that I graduated. And then the TV show was no more.
Yeah, there was no more. Because without him, it wasn't the same thing.
It was,
Yeah, it was really a really interesting show because you would watch it and he was so good at asking questions. He would get them to just really share. I mean, I remember like with Bradley Cooper, sharing, we were talking about The Elephant Man.
Yeah.
And you was telling me, and I had read about it, that when I saw it on Broadway, I was just mesmerized watching him because here's this beautiful man coming out and just basically like a sheet wrapped around him. And I was like, how are they going to make him into the Elephant Man? And then he just contorted his body and then, with his speech and he's, I am, John Merrick. And yet you said also that was his senior thesis.
Yeah,
right?
so it's a great program. It's still happening, still around now. But what's very unique about it is at the end of the 3 years, you do a rep season.
Right.
And there's only maybe 4 or 5 directors in the program that graduate each year. So I got to direct 5 shows.
Wow.
And then, so it's really intense, really great training. But the cool thing for the actors who go to that program, there's usually about 20 to 30 actors. They all get to be the lead in their own show.
Wow.
So you choose, you kind of have to pitch the thesis and then pitch your directors. And so his thesis was The Elephant Man, and he had always wanted to do it again on Broadway. And then he became a big star.
Yes.
So they let him do it, and he was amazing. But the stories of him there were he was always kind of a star in the department. And people knew he was going to be something special, and he's very generous. He came back every year and met with the groups.
And he also is just a nice person. He'd come out after the show. Well, first off, most actors of his caliber would have a black car come pick him up. He literally would take the subway. He had, when I met him, he had it was cold, and he had this, cap on with the little pointy ears kind of thing. It was really funny. And when he would take pictures, he'd take you from here, no, I got it. And he would take the selfie, and I've got this selfie with me and my family. Yeah. And he would sign programs, and right now the play's the thing on Broadway with Clooney, and of course Othello with Denzel Washington, and that's the big show, and Jake Gyllenhaal, and then Kieran and Bob Onderdonk with the Glengarry Glen Ross. So you've got those three dominating plays. At that time, it was a big thing when he came out. So you bring some amazing experience and education, and as we transition to the Titanic.
Yes.
So before we get to the Titanic, tell us some of the things that you've directed.
Well, for ATI, I did Spelling Bee.
That's right.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels and The Big Bang.
I have to tell you, when I saw Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which was a great movie, fun, and seeing that as a musical was so much fun, and you did such an incredible job with that.
Thank you.
It was so much fun. I love that. So you did that.
I did that, and
Spelling Bee. I love that.
Spelling Bee was super fun. My thing is musicals. I direct, even though I graduated from the most serious acting place in the United States, the Actors Studio, I always secretly have my eye on that. I'm going to do musicals.
I have to tell you, I would love to see us do Spelling Bee again. In fact, Sarah Salzberg, who was one of the originals in it, I know from Broadway. In fact, she's in real estate. She's the one with the pigtails.
Oh, yeah.
She originated the part.
Okay.
I think that's just such a special musical.
And it was fantastic in it. And one of the performers who was in Spelling Bee is in Titanic.
Who is that?
Brett.
Oh, Brett was it?
He was and he was in Spelling Bee also at IRT.
I think I know who you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I do know that.
So he's now coming back in Titanic.
Well,
so
that's good.
Excited to work with him again. But yeah, and I also have a theater company in New York.
Right. Tell us about that.
Little Red Light Theater, which is a Jewish queer theater.
All right.
So it's a niche market.
I understand.
But we're really growing, and this year we're having a new musical off Broadway. So this is the first time we've produced our own new musical, which is called Fixing Frankie.
And that's been in development.
That's been in development for about 10 years.
Right.
But kind of came my way about a year ago. And the writers of it have been my friends forever. The one guy I did a theme park with, 9 shows a day, when I back 20 years ago.
Right.
So the theater is a very small world. And,
absolutely.
And who you work with are your friends.
Absolutely.
So we've been friends forever. His name's Joe Langworth, and they came to they approached me about doing the show, and I love the show. And it's about it really is an interesting show. It starts in the 1970s about an Italian kid in Connecticut area. And he's gay, and he growing up through the AIDS crisis, and really discovering to present day, kind of dealing with growing older and accepting himself, and realizing life doesn't turn out exactly how you planned it, but this is you make the best of where you go.
This is his journey.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful musical. We're super excited to do it.
It's great that you're doing that because, in today, everybody has different journeys, and it's nice that you have this theater company there that you're working with and doing that.
Yeah.
So you're bringing now to Titanic, and let's talk about Titanic.
Okay.
Well, first off, I'm going to ask you to hold this. Titanic. This is our next musical, which closes out our season, and it's our biggest musical yet. So Michael was brought back because, listen, with that resume, how could we not? Titanic the musical, which won, I believe, 5 Tonys?
It did. It won Best Musical.
Best Musical.
And it was before the movie.
Yes.
So it is not based on the movie.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me, is that the movie? And I said, no, this is before Leonardo and Kate and all that. This is not. In fact, I've been sending people the music. You can get it on Spotify or Apple Music. It is incredible. In fact, that's why it's 2 nights only, June 20th and the 21st at the Palladium, also known as at the Allied Solutions Center of Performing Arts. And we're doing it with whom? The Carmel
the Symphony Orchestra, members of. So it's a little smaller. And the Indianapolis
Well, how many people
Chorale.
will be with it?
I believe it's maybe 10.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the Palladium, which is, I call it our Carnegie Hall. In
Yes.
fact, I mean, you've been to Carnegie Hall and it's absolutely magnificent, but yet the Palladium, the sound is just absolutely magnificent. And then we have the Indy Chorale, and that we have how many people?
I believe we have 60 members, so that's going to be
How
exciting.
many?
60.
66.
So
So
it's a
we're gonna
big show.
That's gonna.
This was a 50,
Right.
but our cast is going to be larger than Broadway.
Yeah, it's going to be even larger than Broadway. We're bigger. We're bad. We're
and
best.
then we have 21 actors on the stage.
On the stage.
So
You're looking at
that's a big show.
81 people.
Yeah, it's a really big show.
So we needed to do this in the Palladium. And when you hear the music and the orchestration, and then the way, and I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit, throwing us just a little bit, of teasers of, but you hear the music and the orchestration and the beautiful sounds, you are in for a treat. When you hear me every week say, it's Broadway in your backyard, it literally is Broadway in your backyard, but this is just such a big musical. We couldn't do it justice in our Black Box Theater, although we do amazing works at the Studio Theater. This is one that needed to be at the Palladium for you to get that full experience. So tell us some of the things you're doing with it.
Yeah, so it's going to be super exciting. It's sort of in a concert setting, but it's a fully staged production. Beautiful costumes. We got rented the costumes from New York, so it's original Broadway costumes.
So this is original Broadway costumes from the show?
Not from the show. They're from
various versions?
Various shows of the time period.
Gotcha.
But beautiful costumes. And
so they're Broadway costumes.
And so it's going to be what's unique about it is the orchestra is on stage, the chorus is on stage, but then there's a full production happening below on the main deck of the stage. And also what's really cool is they play first class passengers, second class passengers, third class passengers, and the crew. So 21 actors play over 50 roles.
So they're constantly changing, you said.
Yes, and you're going to see all the changes. Everything's happening on stage. So the magic of theater happens before your eyes. So you're going to see the people transforming into each character before your eyes. So it's not like they're not going to leave and come in a new costume. It all happens on the stage.
So we have the Carmel Symphony, our orchestra band, the band orchestra working together.
Ginger Schultz.
Ginger Schultz. Yeah, she's amazing.
MD,
Ginger is, I love her. Ginger brings, and she's doing the orchestration, working the orchestrations that
it's the
Broadway version, but yeah. So you've got that. I'm going to put this down for a second. And this cast, I had to pull it up because I could not remember. I know the actors, but one of the things that I thought was so amazing is there's so many actors here that we've had before. You have Dwayne McDivitt and Devin. Is it Devane?
Devin.
I said Devin and Jacob, both who have been. In fact, Devin and Jacob were just in RLS 9 to 5. And then Cynthia Collins, who is a mainstay with us, and Doug Trapp.
Doug Trapp, yes.
Right. And then, is it Annika? Annika. And then Adam Shapiro, who's been with us many times. And is it Alexandra?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then Scott Greenwell, and then Julie Lynn Barber, and we're going to have Brett. So Brett is who you're talking about. Brett
Spelling Bee,
and Spelling Bee, and Brett's you've seen all over, and then Emily, and how do you pronounce Emily's last name? Is it?
I'm going to butcher it.
Okay, I don't want to mess that up. Okay, and Keith Potts, and Isabella Andrews.
Keith Potts was also in Spelling Bee.
It's Spelling Bee,
Yeah.
okay. And then Peter Scarborough. And then Matthew, is it Gilongo?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And of course, Darren, who is our associate, he is our associate artistic director. And then Tommy Sanders and Nolan Doherty, Riley McNary, and Tommy McConnell.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's one of your child actors.
We do have a child actor, and he's amazing in the show.
So you have quite the cast, very, very diversified cast, a lot of local actors, which is important for us because we're giving opportunities. But I know they casted wide, but we were able to bring back a lot of your fan favorites. And so you bring so much to this. And when you were thinking this through, because you've known you were going to do this for a while,
right.
And how do you prepare for this?
Well, I saw the original Broadway.
Yep. Okay.
Show
You and me
a few
too,
times,
right?
So I was very, very familiar with
Yeah.
it. But I went back. I did a lot of research on the original Titanic, and all the characters in the show are real people that were on the boat, which is very different than the movie.
So you went for the rich and the poor,
and everyone in between. And so you get a little feel for everyone.
Who plays the unsinkable Molly Brown?
She's not in this.
That's right, she's not.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have Astor.
We have the Astors, the Strausses,
right.
Guggenheim, and then there's second class passengers who are
right. There was no Jack,
There's no Jack.
Yeah, those characters that you see in the Titanic movie.
No.
Many of them are like Jack. He didn't exist.
He didn't exist. So everyone is based on real people that were actually there. Every single character.
Right.
And of course, the stories have been...
yes. There's poetic license.
Yes. Because we don't know if these people had an affair or that kind of thing. But they do have a lot of accounts for it. So I went in and prepared a lot with that. I also just watched like 8,000 productions of this just to see what other people did with it. But ours is a completely own animal itself because we're doing it in a different format than it's normally presented. So,
did you go to the Lincoln Center and look at the?
They
original?
didn't have it. They didn't have it.
I'm surprised because it won a Tony.
Yeah, for some reason they didn't record it, but YouTube. So
there is an archive. There was an archival bootleg.
There is. It really.
I mean, that must
poorly shot.
I was going to say poorly shot because the cameras were not. Yeah, I was going to say.
So, but you can watch it. But I do really remember the Broadway one. And so that was where I started. But then I was just kind of figuring out how you want to do this yourself because it's also the original Broadway production had 50 people in it, and the version we're doing has been pared down to 21 actors, but still all the same 50 characters. So everyone's doubling. So figuring that out, a
lot of costume changes.
A lot of costume changes, and just trying to figure out who everyone is. I had little.
So since you're doing it on a lot of these costume changes are on stage.
On stage.
How did you figure? Because there's no costume people on stage. Are they laid out? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's all going to be a lot of. I don't want to give away too much, but
this could be kind of interesting.
It's all going to be
strategically
living somewhere on the set.
Okay, that's good.
As are the props, and then our ideas. We do have sort of a ship.
Good, yeah.
On stage. That's really, he did really great work with researching, what the exact texture of the outside of the ship was, and the little portal where they all enter into the ship is a replica of the portal of Deck D, I think. So that's going to be really amazing. I'm really trying to give the essence of the Titanic, and it's a cool piece because sometimes it's realism and things are very realistic. Other times things are very symbolic. And everyone sort of represents the wall of the ship. Mm-hmm. And then we have to sink.
Yes, you have to sink the ship.
Broadway, the set tilted sideways and people fell off of it. So we have to figure out how to do that here. And that'll be a surprise.
So you start rehearsals?
We started yesterday.
And what was that like?
It was amazing. The cast's amazing. We were learning the music. The music is gorgeous. It's
it is gorgeous.
It's really an opera.
Well, that's what I think a lot of people don't realize how much, and that's why you do need that background. So you're currently working with the actors.
With the actors.
And then who's working with the 60 other?
The artistic director of the chorale has been working for probably like 4 or 5 months already with the chorale.
Because that's important.
They've been rehearsing separate. And we'll rehearse separate until next Sunday, which we call a thing called the Sitz Probe.
Yes.
Which is
Tell them what that means.
Well, it means that the actors sit and sing. And then you could do a Vondel probe, which is where the actors get up and walk around and sing.
I love this
theater
history.
But it's the first time that you get to sing with the orchestra. So the orchestra will be there. Some of the chorale, I think, is coming. But it's the first time you get to put it together. It's really an exciting moment for every show, the Sitz Probe, and it's kind of a famous thing. And
yes.
I would prefer not to.
But you can. But I do. You have some dance background, so
I do have dance
it helps you to work with Carol so that.
And I do immigrants moving to America and all the hopes and dreams they want to bring with them, and so it's really beautiful and inspiring. And then we all know the tragic event.
Right. It started off as a maiden journey. People had all this inspiration going. Yeah. But there's a class system here.
There is.
Yeah. So you're telling that story.
We show that story. You know, that there's two scenes where first we're in the upper class and they're having this marvelous meal and they're talking about progress, even though they're not really progressing. They're stuck.
I talk about it for many reasons. It's a 2.5 hour vacation from life, but yet I come out of it. Sometimes I can go in with things on my mind, but I don't want to think about it. And when I come out of it, my mind is working in the background, but I'm inspired by what I've seen, and I feel better. Yes, this is there's tragedy in the story, but there's things about it, and the music is
the music's gorgeous, and it really is like a testament to humankind, right? Really trying to explore the world. And change things. It is about progress.
And not everybody dies. There's survivors.
There are survivors.
See, that's the thing. It's what happened with those survivors and what they did with their lives later on.
Right. And we do go into that a little bit. So unlike the movie, which really focused on like a love story,
yes,
this is you're gonna get really a whole picture of the whole life of the ship.
Right. It's not about the love story and a diamond necklace.
Right.
And
not
a duel and a slap in the face and all that. Right. Yes. No, this is and that was a great movie.
It is, yeah.
And it was, very different. This is something very different, and you were just the person to bring this to us.
So.
Yeah. And so how does it feel to be home?
It's great. I love being here. I still have friends here. And, I'm very nostalgic driving around the streets.
Yes, because you don't drive in New York.
I don't drive. No. So, like I told you yesterday, I was sweating because I hardly ever drive.
I know. And the roundabouts can be a little bit daunting.
Yesterday was like the first day driving, and I was going around those roundabouts, and I was really nervous.
Do you have an Indiana license or a New York?
No, I have a New York license.
I was going to say, yeah.
But what happened is my license expired from Indiana because I never drove in New York. Right. I never drive. We don't have a car. So I had to go back to driving school when I was directing Spelling Bee, because Judy was like, you can't come here without being able to drive. So I took driving school in New York City. I had to drive through Times Square.
It is the worst. I'm going to tell you guys, when I'm in New York, and I have, of course, an Indiana license, but I grew up in Long Island, and when the few times I have to drive in the city, I dread it.
It's horrifying.
I never want to. First off, you have to be a professional to do that.
And it was crazy. Driving school, and I had the little tag that said
and then everyone around you has no patience.
Yeah.
And they're honking at you and everything. Yeah.
But luckily, I convinced the instructor to take me out to Staten Island to take the test, because I didn't want to take it in the East Village.
So you had to. So you went over on the ferry, and
then I met him
because you had to bring a car.
Well, yeah, the school met me over there. So that was because Staten Island's much more suburban.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was where, because I was terrified. I was like, I can't parallel park in New York City.
No way.
Everyone's screaming at you when you're trying to do it. And I was like, it was okay to go there. So I went to Staten Island. But yeah, I only drive when I go away to do a directing job.
Now I bet you'll never let that license.
Never.
Right. Never, ever.
Never taking driver's ed again.
No, I don't blame you. Well, so and you're getting to spend some time with your mom.
Yes.
Yeah. So is she excited about coming to see?
She's really excited about it, and she's getting all her friends to come see it, and so I think it's gonna be a great time.
Well, again, that's what we want. So if you haven't gotten tickets yet, we want to encourage you. It's 2 nights only, June 20th and 21st at the Palladium. You can get your tickets. So here's how you're going to do that. You're going to either call 317-843-3800 or ATI. You can go to atistage.org and you can buy them online. It's 2 nights only, and you're going to be able to get your tickets for Titanic, and we would love for you to see it. If you have not seen one of our shows at ATI, it's Broadway in Your Backyard. It's professional theater. These are professional actors, professional director, and we are an equity company here in Indiana, Broadway in Your Backyard, and it is just going to be an absolutely magnificent show. So I would love for you to do that. Come see our show. And I want to thank you, Michael, for being here.
Thank you.
And for all of you, would love for you to see it. And we want to thank you for being part of ATI's lunch break. And I'm so excited. So while you're doing all the preparation for Titanic, you keep in touch with me. I'm so excited about all that you're doing. And
awesome.
I'll keep checking in on the rehearsals, and as we say, break a leg, and I've got all my tickets for opening night.
Great.
And I'll see you at the ATI Gala tomorrow night. We are, as I said last week, we told you about that, and thank you for being part of ATI's lunch break and for supporting us. We are our resident company here, part of the resident companies, and so we look for your support. That's where we're having our gala tomorrow. So we can put on these incredible shows and bring incredible people like Michael and the actors that we have here, right here in Carmel, Broadway in Your Backyard. So with that, I would like to say, have a wonderful week, a beautiful weekend, and God bless you all. Again, I'm Sam Arce with ATI on the board, also known as Broadway Sam. And thank you, Michael, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Michael Blatt, director for Titanic. And goodbye. Have a great day.